So when Lisa Leslie is on Angel Reese's podcast and gets asked anything you would want me to work on going into year 2, Lisa Leslie has a laundry list she's already written out. Your layups suck. Your layups suck. You can't finish. You can't finish. You can't. Lisa Leslie had a huge list.
Ever wonder what happens when a basketball star's confidence exceeds her talent? Angel Reese's new podcast, *Unapologetically Angel*, lets us in on that very story, and it's definitely one you won't want to miss.
I don't know what the scouts were looking at. I really don't. But following the 7, God has a plan, and it is what it is, and you ended up in Chicago, but I'm just telling you.
Going into season...
You were ready.
Thank you. Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
From WNBA legends poking fun at her layups to disappointing viewership numbers, Angel Reese's efforts to stay in the spotlight are quickly turning into a cringeworthy disaster. You won't believe what her own mentor, Lisa Leslie, had to say about her game. Stick with us as we dive into this messy situation that's got the basketball world talking. Are you ready? Let's get into it. What's wild is that Angel Reese just can't seem to escape Caitlin Clark's shadow, even on her own turf. She started her podcast, *Unapologetically Angel*, to give fans a behind-the-scenes look at her life beyond basketball. But instead of that, every episode, no matter who she's talking to or what the topic is, somehow ends up focusing on Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese on the Unapologetically Clout-Chasing Caitlin Clark podcast. I think that's what it's called. Unapologetic Clout Chasing of Caitlin Clark podcast, hosted by Angel Reese.
It's as if Caitlin Clark has become this unseen guest star that Angel Reese can't shake off. Are Reese's guests the ones constantly mentioning Clark, or is she somehow steering the conversation that way herself? It makes you wonder what's really going on in Reese's mind. Is it fierce rivalry, hidden admiration, or is Clark just that much of a powerhouse in women's basketball right now?
So when you say Cheryl swoops Caitlin Clark, it's like, oh my goodness, Cheryl doesn't like her, so let's see what this is about. And all of that's stupid to me. Mm-hmm. It's not true. It's all stupid. And also, now they may be mad when I say this, because it's funny to me. When I look at the number 22s in the league, I was 22, Asia's 22, Caitlin's 22. Those are some hell of a good number 22s. Mm-hmm. And we're all a part of the Nike family.
Let's break it down. Episode after episode, a clear pattern is emerging. 1 minute, Reese is talking about her pre-game rituals, and the next, someone's praising Caitlin Clark's latest record-breaking performance. It's almost funny how predictable it's getting. Fans on social media are having a blast, even joking that Reese's podcast should be renamed *The Caitlin Clark Show*, hosted by Angel Reese.
Because of women's basketball, whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. This is your platform. So how do you feel about that situation?
I think just being able to be in that moment of it happening, you never realize how something can literally change your life. And knowing my 5 fingers and my other finger pointing at my hand could literally have changed my life for forever is crazy.
Here's where it gets interesting, though. This Clark-focused content might actually be helping Reese. Think about it, every time Caitlin Clark's name is mentioned, it's bringing more attention to Reese's podcast. Even basketball analysts are picking up on it, noticing how Reese tries to highlight her own journey, but it often gets overshadowed by talk about Clark's accomplishments.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark, besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We've never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Steph Curry, I love. You know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
You have to wonder how all this is affecting Reese's image and the goals she had for her podcast. Did she intend to create a platform where she'd always be compared to Caitlin Clark, or is this just an unexpected turn in the Angel Reese story? It's a delicate balance between staying relevant and becoming obsessed, and right now, it's tough to tell which side Reese is on. Want to know what Reese's so-called mentor had to say about her?
Lisa Leslie appears on Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. She gives angels some advice. Just a hint, it has to do with her layups.
If you thought the Caitlin Clark comparisons were tough, wait until you hear about Angel Reese's latest podcast episode. It took a sharp turn into awkward territory when WNBA legend Lisa Leslie visited the *Unapologetically Angel* studio. Fans probably expected some fun conversation and maybe a few pearls of wisdom. Instead, they got an up-close look at what can only be described as a public roasting. Leslie, not one to sugarcoat things, decided to keep it 100, and I mean really real.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period.
Let's break this down. Lisa Leslie, a two-time WNBA champion and one of the most dominant players in women's basketball history, didn't waste any time getting straight to the point. She looked Angel Reese right in the eye and dropped this truth bomb. The biggest advice I have for you is how you shoot your layups. Period. Ouch. Can you imagine trying to host your own podcast while your basketball idol basically tells you your fundamentals need major improvement? But wait, it gets even better, or worse, depending on how you see it.
It's just a fact. It's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%.
Leslie didn't just stop at criticizing Reese's layup form, she went full statistician on us. She pointed out that Reese shot a weak 39.1% from the field during her rookie season. For those who aren't basketball experts, that's not good, especially considering Reese was shooting below 50% on shots from less than 5 feet from the basket. In other words, she was missing about half of her shots right at the rim, the easiest place to score from.
This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
Now picture this, Reese is probably sweating bullets, trying to keep her composure while Leslie keeps throwing these harsh truths her way. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, you can't look away. The tension in that studio must have been so thick you could cut it with a knife. Keep in mind, this is the same Angel Reese who faced accusations of stat padding all season, to the point where her coach got fired. Even Kennedy Carter took a shot at her on her way out of Chicago.
Kennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys. And I'm here to tell you, bruh, she been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now, a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese.
Here's the thing about pro athletes, they love spilling the tea on social media. And when it comes to the Chicago Sky, Kennedy Carter really turned up the heat. You know those cryptic tweets that make you think, wait, what's really going on here? Well, Carter dropped one that had everyone connecting the dots faster than you can say layup. She tweeted about the importance of making layups seem simple, right? Wrong. See, Angel Reese had been struggling with layups all season, with a success rate of just 42.4%, the worst in the WNBA. That's not just bad, that's maybe try underhand bad. Out of 321 attempts, Reese only made 136. Ouch.
Just like I've been telling y'all, bruh. She has been making it her business to sneak this Angel Reese every chance she get. Now, since she's been cut, it look even more obvious. Somebody said, LOL, you ate down. Now, this tweet right here just popped up here. Somebody tried to come into the defense of her because we know she's a free agent. So, like, if you throw ex-teammates under the bus, that's going to hurt you even more.
But wait, there's more. When a fan posted a graphic showing Reese's poor layup percentages, Carter couldn't help but comment, translation for those who don't speak Twitter, you nailed it. Subtle, right? Not so much. This public critique isn't just about Reese's layups or shooting stats, it's a bigger issue that touches on her overall playing style and approach to the game. When someone with Lisa Leslie's experience takes the time to break down your weaknesses in detail, it's a sign that these problems go beyond just rookie jitters or small flaws.
Has nobody mentioned this to Angel Reese through 17 to 23 years old? So every time she would meet a legend or meet somebody in the WNBA, meet a player, instead of saying, hey, Angel, let me talk to you real quick. Instead of looking out for her, you guys just do this again. Because okay. It's okay.
You've got to wonder what this is doing to Reese's relationship with Leslie. Is this the end of their mentorship, or could it be the wake-up call Reese desperately needs? Let's face it, when a legend like Lisa Leslie tells you to fix something, you'd better listen. But this wasn't the first time someone called Reese out on her own show. Just when you thought Angel Reese's podcast couldn't get more awkward, in comes Shaquille O'Neal, her self-proclaimed father figure. Instead of offering a comforting shoulder after Leslie's tough critique, Shaq showed up ready to drop some truth bombs of his own. And trust me, these weren't your average fatherly nuggets of wisdom.
Oh, she can't be rookie of the year because all she do is do the flip shots, get rebound. Just remember all that shit that they say.
You'd think having a legend like Shaq in your corner would be a dream come true, right? Well, for Angel Reese, it turned into more of a nightmare. O'Neal didn't just critique her game, he went full savage mode, leaving both Reese and her fans absolutely stunned.
You know who you are? You're the female Antoine Jameson. You know who Antoine Jameson is? He got 20,000 points with his shot. Whatever your shot is. Like, everybody's shot ain't gonna be Steph Curry. Your shot is your shot.
Let's start with the comparison that left everyone's jaws on the floor. Shaq compared Angel Reese to, wait for it, Antoine Jameson. If you're scratching your head, you're not alone. Jameson had a solid NBA career, but he's not exactly Hall of Fame material. This comparison wasn't just surprising, it was a serious reality check for Reese, who's probably been dreaming of GOAT status. But Shaq wasn't done yet. He took aim at Reese's layup technique, and he didn't hold back. She can't be rookie of the year cause all she does is flip shots, O'Neal said, no filter. Ouch. That's got to sting, especially coming from a guy who ruled the paint like nobody else.
He called her Antoine Jameson. Most people, trust me, she was offended.
She didn't know who that was.
She probably does. She's a basketball fan. She probably does. But, I mean, Antoine Jameson ain't cracking nobody's top 200 in NBA history. And this woman thinks she's one of the greatest WNBA players or greatest women's basketball player of all time.
You know what's wild? This public roasting session wasn't just Shaq being Shaq, it was his way of giving Reese a wake-up call. O'Neal's tough love approach is legendary, and it's clear he believes Reese has the potential to be great. But potential doesn't mean anything if you're not willing to put in the work and face your weaknesses. Shaq told Reese to stop comparing herself to others, yet he's the one who brought up the Jameson comparison. It's almost like he's saying, don't worry about what others are doing, but also, you're not as good as you think you are. Talk about mixed messages.
Shaq just called her a role player, not a star, certainly not a superstar, not a legend. Hey, you remind me of Antoine Jameson. Oh, nice player. Put up 20,000 points. No one's really heard of him. I think Antoine played at North Carolina. Anyway, Shaq slams Angel Reese to her face.
This whole situation puts Reese in a tough spot. On one hand, she's got one of the greatest centers of all time taking an interest in her career. That's huge. But on the other hand, having your flaws exposed on your own podcast? That's got to be humbling, to say the least. Here's the thing, though, as cringeworthy as this episode was, it might be exactly what Angel Reese needs. Sometimes, a harsh dose of reality is the spark that lights a fire under you. And who better to deliver that wake-up call than Shaquille O'Neal? The man knows a thing or two about dominating the paint and leaving a lasting legacy in basketball.
Yes, it is unrivaled. It is also unwatched. Look, let's be honest, we can sugarcoat it all you want, but if you don't have Caitlin Clark playing women's basketball, or if you're not the NCAA tournament playing women's basketball, you got nothing. Zero zip, nothing. Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
The big question now is, how will Reese respond? Will she take Shaq's critique to heart and work on improving her game, or will she brush it off and keep going down the same path? Her reaction to this public tough love could end up being a defining moment in her young career.
And it's hilarious because it's my understanding now, she keeps telling us, Angel Reese keeps telling us, that it's not just Caitlin Clark, that she's part of this brigade of women's basketball players that are leading all these new viewers into the WNBA. And I think it's these ratings right here that prove the biggest point.